In a world that trades in emotional debt, the Sigma male cashed out, and left wealthier than kings. Here's the unforgiving truth: the kindest souls turn to steel not from emptiness, but from exhaustion. Their warmth didn't fade, it was siphoned away, drop, by hands that mistook generosity for weakness. For the Sigma male, this hardening isn't some cinematic metamorphosis, it's the silent crystallization of a man who's memorized the cost of vulnerability. The irony? His armor wasn't forged in hatred, it was welded together from the scrap of broken promises. Every act of kindness weaponized. Every oath of loyalty shattered. Every moment of empathy twisted into a blade aimed at his throat. Picture this: a man lends his last sacred text to thieves who swear they'll return it. When the pages never come home, he doesn't rage, he rewrites the rules. Where others construct fortresses of bitterness, the Sigma male polishes himself into a black mirror. No cracks. No fingerprints. Just an impenetrable surface that throws deception back at its source. Pain? Smothered before it can breathe. Revenge? He doesn't deliver it, he incarnates it. Now the real question: how does a man reprogram himself into this level of ruthless equilibrium? Strap in. This isn't a lament for the tender-hearted, it's a field manual for those done playing by losing rules. Number 1. Reprogramming empathy as an analytical tool. A Sigma male doesn't lose his ability to understand people. In fact, his empathy becomes sharper over time. But unlike most, he doesn't let that empathy guide his emotions, he uses it to guide his strategy. To him, understanding how someone feels is not an invitation to care, it's an opportunity to predict, manipulate, or protect himself. When he listens, he doesn't just hear words, he deciphers motives. Complaints become confessions. Compliments become calculations. Apologies reveal leverage. He knows that behind every emotion is a hidden agenda, even if the person expressing it isn't aware of it themselves. His empathy isn't a bridge to connection, it's a scanner, detecting insecurity, arrogance, fear, or ambition. This isn't cruelty, it's survival. The Sigma male understands that in a world full of hidden motives, the person who can read emotions without being swept away by them is a master strategist. He can predict how someone will react before they even realize it themselves. A smile isn't just a gesture, it's a negotiation tactic. A sigh isn't just frustration, it's a silent demand for attention. His cold-hearted nature isn't a lack of empathy but a refined form of it. He doesn't rush to comfort someone crying, he first asks himself why they are crying and what they gain by being seen that way. He doesn't leap to defend someone who seems wronged, he assesses if they're a victim or a manipulator in disguise. When someone tries to guilt him, he recognizes the emotional bait and sidesteps it. When someone tries to flatter him, he knows they are trying to win favor. Even in relationships, he doesn't lose himself in affection. He watches, even while caring, to see if loyalty is real or a temporary performance. For a Sigma male, empathy is no longer a doorway to connection, it is a weapon, a shield, and a map all at once. He understands people better than they understand themselves, but he never lets that understanding become an emotional chain around his own neck. Number 2. Embracing the reality of a cold world. A Sigma male doesn't become cold-hearted because he's naive. He becomes cold-hearted because he understands the brutal truth: the world is a cold place, and warmth is often seen as weakness. He isn't some tragic, broken soul hiding from life, he's a strategist who has learned that emotions are a double-edged sword. One side offers connection, but the other is a weapon others can use against him. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It begins with observation. He sees how people promise loyalty but disappear at the first sign of inconvenience. He watches as kindness is mistaken for desperation, silence for ignorance, and vulnerability for a target. He sees people who manipulate with a smile and betray with a hug. Slowly, he begins to recognize that most are not as genuine as they claim to be. The world isn't a playground, it's a chessboard where every piece can be sacrificed. But the Sigma male's reaction isn't emotional. He doesn't lash out, become bitter, or seek revenge. He simply adjusts. He starts treating interactions like transactions, a value exchange where trust must be earned, not assumed. Compliments become noise. Apologies become empty words. Flattery is nothing but camouflage for hidden motives. He listens, but he rarely believes. He observes, but he rarely reveals. His presence becomes like a mirror, reflecting back the true nature of those around him without ever showing his own cards. Some might call him cynical, but that's a misunderstanding. He isn't negative, he's just aware. He knows that in a world where most people wear masks, showing your true face is an invitation for exploitation. So he keeps his emotions in an iron grip, offering nothing that can be used against him. When people try to manipulate him, they find an impenetrable wall. When they try to guilt him, they're met with a blank stare. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. A Sigma male understands that warmth, kindness, and trust are not things you give to everyone. They are reserved only for those who have earned them. To everyone else, he offers something colder: polite distance, quiet observation, and the silent promise that he cannot be played. Number 3. Weaponizing ambiguity. A Sigma male masters the art of controlled ambiguity. In a world obsessed with transparency, his unreadability is a superpower. He isn't dishonest, he simply chooses what to reveal. His emotions are a locked vault, his thoughts a shifting fog, his intentions a shadow. This isn't accidental, it's strategic. Ask him how he feels, and his answer will be courteous but vague, just enough to seem honest, never enough to be deciphered. In conversations, he offers insights without ever tipping his hand. He speaks of possibilities, not promises. His actions are direct, but his motivations remain puzzles. People think they know him, until they realize they've only glimpsed reflections of their own assumptions. This deliberate ambiguity keeps others off balance. They second-guess his reactions, obsess over his true opinions, and waste energy trying to decode him. Even those who believe they're close to him eventually confront the truth: they've never truly seen him. His silence is a blank canvas where others project their own narratives, none of them accurate. For the Sigma male, mystery isn't just defense, it's dominance. If they can't pinpoint what he values, they can't manipulate him. If they can't trace his fears, they can't intimidate him. His unpredictability defies emotional traps, guilt trips, and forced commitments. Those who try to manipulate him clutch at fog. Even in relationships, he retains an air of enigma. His affection is genuine, but his mind is never an open book. He listens more than he speaks, observes more than he reveals. His partner may feel cherished but never possessive, because his sovereignty is non-negotiable. The irony? The more others strain to understand him, the more they're ensnared by his mystique. His silence becomes a riddle, his calm, a paradox. Yet while they exhaust themselves unraveling him, he remains untouched, fully in control. Ambiguity is his armor. His weapon. His most lethal charm. Number 4. Outgrowing attachment like an old skin. A Sigma male doesn't cling to people, places, or even ideas. To him, attachment isn't a badge of love or loyalty, it's a liability, a chain waiting to be yanked. Unlike most, he doesn't fear loneliness, he embraces it, viewing solitude not as isolation but as purification. It's where he sheds the dead weight of toxic relationships, false friendships, and meaningless connections. When someone reveals their true nature, whether through disloyalty, manipulation, or sheer mediocrity, he doesn't beg them to stay. He doesn't argue or justify his worth. Instead, he releases them with the indifference of discarding an old coat. His world doesn't crumble when people leave, it sharpens into silence. This isn't bitterness, it's clarity. A Sigma male knows not everyone who enters his life deserves to remain. He has no patience for forced bonds, performative loyalty, or relationships built on convenience. The moment he detects insincerity, entitlement, or unnecessary drama, he initiates detachment, not with announcements or theatrics, but with quiet withdrawal. His absence speaks louder than any argument. Yet this process isn't just about cutting ties, it's about refinement. In solitude, he reclaims his time, energy, and focus. His thoughts crystallize, his goals clarify. While others dread loneliness as a void, he wields it as a mirror, confronting his own ambitions, flaws, and desires without distraction. When he engages with others again, it's from a place of detached discernment, polite but reserved, observant but unreadable. His loyalty isn't claimed easily, his trust is earned rarely. People cease to be necessities, they become options. By outgrowing attachment, the Sigma male doesn't become emotionless, he becomes selective. Only those who offer genuine value, unwavering loyalty, and raw authenticity gain entry. The rest are left behind, no drama, no excuses, no regrets. Number 5. Exchanging innocence for cunning. A Sigma male's evolution from naivety to cunning isn't a dramatic fall from grace, it's a quiet, calculated upgrade. He doesn't start out jaded. If anything, his early nature leans toward trust, even generosity, rooted in a belief in honesty and loyalty. But the world has a way of educating idealists, and his lessons come via betrayal. When a false friend stabs him in the back, a manipulative partner plays him, or a deceitful colleague undermines him, he doesn't erupt in rage or beg for closure. Instead, he studies the betrayal like a crime scene investigator. Every lie, every fake smile, every subtle manipulation is catalogued. His mind becomes a database of red flags and hidden agendas. This isn't about dwelling on pain, it's about writing a survival manual. He mentally dissects his betrayers, their habits, their excuses, their tactics. He notes the signs he missed, the behaviors he ignored, the moments his trust was weaponized. Each betrayal becomes a blueprint, a map of deception he'll reference forever. When he meets new people, he silently cross-references them against his mental files. A casual lie, a hint of flattery, an overplayed victim act, all trigger silent alarms. He doesn't accuse or confront. He adjusts. His trust is withheld. His vulnerability locked down. He can charm, engage, even appear friendly, but those who match familiar patterns are kept at arm's length. They'll never realize it. This cunning isn't just defensive, it's offensive. Knowing how betrayal works lets him outmaneuver manipulators, deceive the deceitful, and outthink those who mistake his calm for cluelessness. To most, he seems aloof, even indifferent. But beneath that surface? A mind that's already mapped their weaknesses, predicted their moves, and planned his counter. In the end, the Sigma male doesn't just survive betrayal, he evolves from it. Innocence is traded for razor-sharp awareness. And those who think they can fool him twice? They won't see him coming. Number 6, emotional apathy as a strategic weapon. A Sigma male doesn't lack empathy, he masters it. He understands people with surgical precision, often seeing through them better than they see themselves. But unlike most, he refuses to let that understanding chain him. Instead, he learns to switch empathy on and off at will, transforming it from a vulnerability into a weapon. This shift isn't born from cruelty, it's forged in the fires of brutal experience. Time and again, he's watched his kindness mistaken for weakness, his compassion exploited by manipulators, and his willingness to listen turned into a dumping ground for others' emotional baggage. He learned the hard way. In a world of emotional predators, wearing your heart on your sleeve is an invitation to be drained dry. But where others grow bitter, the Sigma male takes a different path. He doesn't stop understanding people, he simply stops caring by default. When someone spills a sob story, he listens, but his mind remains ice. He dissects narratives for hidden motives, exaggeration, or manipulation. Tears don't move him. Anger doesn't intimidate him. Guilt doesn't sway him. He reads emotions like a negotiator scans a contract, hunting for the fine print. This emotional apathy isn't a mask, it's armor. It lets him navigate a minefield of emotional traps unscathed. Try to guilt trip him? You'll meet a calm stare. Attempt to provoke him? You'll be shouting at a wall. He can sympathize without attaching, advise without investing, and walk away without remorse. But don't mistake this for heartlessness. Those rare few who earn his trust see a different man, loyal, thoughtful, even fiercely protective. But they're the exception, not the rule. For everyone else, his apathy is a silent warning, his mind is a fortress, his heart a locked vault with no key. In a world where emotions are currency, the Sigma male hoards his wealth. His detachment isn't a flaw, it's a survival mechanism, letting him move through a manipulative world without becoming its prey. Number 7, a memory like a guillotine. A Sigma male's mind operates with the precision of a guillotine, sharp, methodical, and unrelenting. But instead of severing heads, it severs illusions. Every betrayal, every deception, every hidden act of malice is catalogued in cold detail. Yet his memory isn't a vault of grudges, it's a ledger of truth, equally recording rare acts of loyalty, honesty, and genuine kindness. Where others forgive and forget, for the sake of peace, the Sigma male considers forgetfulness a fatal luxury. He knows the same hand that once shook his in friendship may one day hold a knife. When wronged, he doesn't erupt in anger or demand closure. Instead, he silently observes, the exact words spoken, the betrayer's expression, the subtle red flags he missed. It's all archived, not for revenge, but for strategic awareness. Yet his memory isn't just a weapon against enemies, it's also a tool for rewarding loyalty. Those who stand by him in adversity, who choose honesty when lies would be easier, or who offer help without being asked, their actions are never forgotten. He keeps a silent tally, and when the moment comes, their loyalty is repaid tenfold. Others may wonder why he goes out of his way for certain people, but he knows it's simply a debt settled. This mental ledger lets him navigate relationships with ruthless efficiency. Manipulators are quietly exiled, no drama, no confrontation. Fair-weather friends find their calls unanswered. Those who lied to him are met with polite detachment, their true nature remembered, though never spoken aloud. On the surface, he remains composed, even friendly. Beneath it, an ironclad system of accountability. But his memory is a double-edged sword. While it shields him from being fooled twice, it also ensures he never grows naive again. He trusts, but cautiously. He listens, but skeptically. He may smile, but he never forgets the face of betrayal, or the face of true loyalty. In a world of short memories and shorter allegiances, the Sigma male's recall is his silent weapon, cold, exact, and utterly without mercy. Number 8, converting kindness into calculated indifference. A Sigma male doesn't discard kindness, he refines it. In his early years, he may have been the type to offer help freely, extend trust without question, and give others the benefit of the doubt. But life teaches harsh lessons to those who give too easily. He learns that unearned kindness is often mistaken for weakness, a resource exploited by the selfish, the manipulative, and the ungrateful. Yet he doesn't turn bitter or cruel. Instead, he becomes strategic. His kindness doesn't vanish, it transforms into a calculated currency. He still listens, helps, and supports, but only when it's earned. Compliments aren't hollow flattery, they're deliberate acknowledgments reserved for those who've proven their worth. Assistance is no longer reflexive, it's a conscious choice, granted based on merit. To most, he appears polite but distant. He refuses to perform emotional labor for strangers, wastes no time on performative sympathy, and never lets guilt dictate his actions. Attempt to manipulate him with tears, drama, or pity. You'll meet a wall of quiet indifference. His kindness isn't a default setting, it's a privilege, dispensed only to those who've earned it. This calculated indifference isn't just self-preservation, it's self-respect. He knows true kindness is valuable, and like any finite resource, it must be safeguarded. Those who take it for granted or try to weaponize it find themselves exiled, met with silence or detached politeness. But for those who demonstrate loyalty, honesty, and authenticity, his kindness runs deep. He listens intently, helps without hesitation, and protects without being asked. By converting kindness into controlled generosity, the Sigma male doesn't become heartless, he becomes discerning. He refuses to be drained by emotional parasites or used by manipulators. His energy, time, and support are reserved for the worthy. To everyone else, his calm demeanor sends a clear message: he owes them nothing. Number 9. Becoming an emotional shadow. A Sigma male moves through the world like a silhouette, present, yet undefined. He isn't invisible, but he is intentionally unreadable. In social settings, whether among boisterous crowds or quiet observers, he becomes an enigma, revealing only what serves his purpose. Conversations swirl around him. People divulge secrets, debate passionately, and vie for attention, yet he remains inscrutable, offering measured responses that reveal nothing. Some mistake his reserve for shyness, others project their own assumptions onto his neutral demeanor. But his silence isn't insecurity, it's strategy. In a world obsessed with visibility, he wields power through calculated obscurity. He speaks just enough to be courteous, smiles just enough to disarm, and shares just enough opinion to blend in, but his true thoughts stay encrypted. When others confide, he listens without reciprocating. When provoked, he responds with detached calm. Drama erupts and fades around him, leaving him unscathed, an observer, never a participant. This emotional stealth makes him immune to manipulation. Guilt trips? Met with polite deflection. Flattery? Acknowledged, not absorbed. Anger? Deflected like rain off armor. His face remains a composed mask, his feelings, buried deep. This isn't deceit, it's sovereignty. By withholding emotional tells, he retains the upper hand, watching, analyzing, and adapting without entanglement. While others exhaust themselves deciphering him, he deciphers them, identifying allies, spotting frauds, and navigating social currents with precision. To the uninitiated, he's a paradox, there, yet not there, engaged, yet untouchable. And that's exactly his design, a shadow that watches, learns, and never steps fully into the light. Number 10. Transforming trust into a contract. For a Sigma male, trust is not given, it's earned through action, not words. Unlike those who distribute trust freely, hoping for reciprocity, he treats it as a binding contract, one with clear terms and irreversible consequences. Charming words, shared history, or emotional appeals won't sway him. His trust is built brick by brick, through consistent proof of character. He observes how people treat those who can't benefit them, how they handle pressure, and what they say when backs are turned. This contractual approach means betrayal carries absolute repercussions. There are no second chances, no tearful reconciliations, no drawn-out goodbyes. Once trust is broken, the deal is void, permanently. The offender may receive polite indifference, but they will never regain entry to his inner world. To a Sigma male, trust isn't elastic, it's a single-use filament. Once severed, it cannot be repaired. Yet this standard applies equally to himself. He doesn't make promises lightly, knowing his word is his bond. If he commits, he follows through, because he demands the same in return. This transactional mindset shields him from the chaos of broken bonds. He never invests blindly, so he avoids the fallout of misplaced faith. Those who earn his trust understand its rarity, a privilege to be guarded. Those who lose it learn a hard truth: his forgiveness has no backdoor. For the Sigma male, trust isn't emotional, it's strategic. And once breached, the agreement is terminated, no appeals, no exceptions. Number 11. Absorbing pain without expression. A Sigma male knows that in a world of vultures, showing pain is an invitation to be devoured. So he makes a choice: no tears, no venting, no performative suffering. Instead, he absorbs agony like a black hole, silent, total, and leaving no trace. But this isn't suppression. It's alchemy. Every betrayal, failure, and heartbreak refines rather than breaks him. Where others drown in self-pity or lash out, he grows quieter, colder, sharper. Pain isn't a wound to nurse, it's energy to weaponize. Anger becomes focus. Sadness becomes determination. Disappointment becomes discipline. While others waste time explaining their struggles, he's already converting suffering into silent progress. He feels deeply, but his mind is a fortress. Pain isn't ignored, it's studied. Why did this happen? What did I miss? Where did I fail? Each answer is a lesson. Each wound, a blueprint for survival. His scars aren't badges of honor, they're reminders etched in steel. His silence is also his shield. Those who wrong him never see his hurt. Manipulators, liars, and false friends meet only calm indifference, left wondering if they ever mattered. Even direct insults glance off his impassive mask, his true thoughts buried under flawless control. To outsiders, he seems unshakable, even emotionless. But beneath the surface? A storm harnessed, not endured. Every pain absorbed is fuel. Every setback, a stepping stone. While others are broken by their struggles, he emerges stronger, sharper, relentless. Number 12. Evolving through brutal self-awareness. A Sigma male doesn't harden himself by blaming the world or playing the victim. When betrayed, manipulated, or humiliated, his first question is never, "How could they do this?" but rather, "How did I allow this?" This isn't self-flagellation, it's self-mastery. He knows he can't control others, only his own reactions, choices, and vulnerabilities. So he dissects his mistakes without mercy. Was he too trusting? Did he ignore red flags? Was he swayed by flattery, blinded by emotion, or paralyzed by doubt? No comforting lies. No excuses. Just ruthless analysis. But this self-awareness isn't self-loathing, it's a forge. Every weakness identified becomes fuel for evolution. Naivety transforms into hyper-observance. Emotional reactivity hardens into calm detachment. Eagerness to please refines into strategic indifference. Each painful memory becomes a mentor, teaching him the hidden language of human behavior. Over time, he develops an almost superhuman ability to detect deception, spotting liars by their forced charm, manipulators by their exaggerated kindness, and emotional predators by their calculated victimhood. This relentless introspection doesn't just make him harder to deceive, it makes him harder to hurt. Trust is no longer given, it's earned. Loyalty isn't pledged, it's proven. Emotions aren't exposed, they're deployed. Those who try exploiting his old vulnerabilities slam into an impenetrable wall. Yet there's irony in his evolution. The deeper he understands his own flaws, the clearer he sees theirs. He anticipates insecurities, dismantles hypocrisy, and sidesteps emotional traps with ease. His coldness isn't bitterness, it's wisdom paid for in pain. He didn't change because the world is cruel. He changed because he refused to stay blind. And in that refusal, he turned weakness into weapons, and scars into strength. Final thoughts. A Sigma male doesn't become cold-hearted by chance. He is sculpted into it by a world that mistook his kindness for weakness, his silence for ignorance, and his loyalty for something to exploit. But instead of crumbling under betrayal, manipulation, and disappointment, he evolves. He doesn't wear his scars for sympathy, he hides them beneath a calm, unreadable exterior. Every lesson is absorbed. Every deception is catalogued. Every emotion is refined into a tool. This transformation isn't a tragedy, it's a triumph. In a society that pressures people to be endlessly open, vulnerable, and agreeable, the Sigma male becomes a fortress of calculated indifference, strategic empathy, and selective kindness. He isn't bitter, he's just awake. He doesn't stop understanding people, he simply stops being controlled by them. He doesn't fear loneliness, he masters it, using solitude as a forge to sharpen his mind, strengthen his discipline, and refine his purpose. Those who misjudge his quiet nature, mistaking it for weakness, never see the silent calculations behind his calm gaze. Those who attempt to manipulate him find themselves tangled in their own schemes. He doesn't chase after love, approval, or attention. He offers his loyalty like a contract, his kindness like a reward, and his trust like a treasure, all reserved for the few who earn them. In the end, the Sigma male doesn't just survive a ruthless world, he conquers it in his own quiet, invisible way. He moves without being noticed, observes without being read, and strikes without being predicted. He is a paradox. Emotionally aware yet unshakably detached. Compassionate yet calculated. present yet elusive. And as those who try to deceive or control him fade away, he remains, colder, sharper, and more powerful than ever. If you found this breakdown of the cold-hearted Sigma male eye-opening and brutally honest, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe for more unfiltered truth. Like, comment, and share with someone who needs to understand the Sigma mindset. Knowledge is power, but only if you use it. Stay tuned. Stay sharp.